I've been here almost 8 years. I started in the yards as a volunteer and then worked my way up to team leader and from team leader to assistant supervisor. And you have to be a team leader before you can do any home care. And the home care involves looking after sick koalas that really need 24-hour care. Because the hospital closes at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, there's no one here overnight, so some of them need 24-hour care. So you have to be team leader to be able to look after them at home. They're usually koalas that will stay in a basket. They're too sick to get out of the basket, so we keep them at home with us until they improve enough to come back into the hospital. And while we've got them at home, we bring them in every Wednesday morning when the vet comes to the hospital, and he checks them over, and then we take them home again, and we keep them until such time as they're well enough to come into the hospital. Also, the home care involves rearing little joeys, and so the joeys, we get them from anywhere from 300 grams up. Tinkerbell came to us from Gosford Reptile Park. Her mother was old, and apparently her milk wasn't of any good quality, and the poor little one is very underweight and underdeveloped. She's only 145 grams when I got her. She's now up to 175, but she's still got a long way to go. So, that's no guarantee that we'll be able to rear her, but so far so good. We have to keep the joeys at home with us until they weigh between 2.5 kilos and 3 kilos. And once they reach that weight, we bring them into the hospital. We put them in a yard where there's a tree, and it's like rearing a baby. You have to give them a milk formula every 4 hours. Well, once we bring them in, we stop giving them the milk formula, and we just give them leaf, the same as we do these fellows here, and we call it dehumanising. They've got to learn to live in the tree without relying on us for support. It only takes them a few weeks, and then they revert back to their wild animal status where they don't want to be handled anymore. And we keep them in the hospital then till they weigh around about 4 kilos, between 3.5 and 4 kilos, and then they're big enough to be released back out into the wild. This fellow's name is Perks Chris. We name them because Perks is the street that he came from. Chris was probably the name of the person who phoned in to say that he was there. So we usually give them a name of the street where we find them so that it's easy to locate them back into that area, because you must locate them back into the area where you find them because they're very territorial. He's come in because he has conjunctivitis in his eyes, and we've treated it, and he's got about another week's treatment to go, and then he should be all right to be released back to where we came from.
Hey, true blue, don't say you've gone. Say you've knocked off for a smoke out, and you'll be back later on. Hey, true blue, true blue.